I will just try to finish the 12 vows and prayers, aspirations of Master Buddha. And then number 10 is to give whatever is requested of him by sentient beings. 11, to help those who are afflicted by the negative emotions to attain peace and tranquility. Again, I guess we all need that. And to help those who are striving to achieve Buddhahood to attain their goal. And then according to the sutra, in that sutra, which was given by Buddha Shakyamuni himself, declare that Medicine Buddha would indeed have great power of healing. So those are the 12 vows or aspiration prayer that Medicine Buddha made while on the path. And so therefore, if we practice in relation to that, that is why it's become powerful, meaningful, beneficial. So, in order for such practice to become powerful, effective, whether you are doing for yourself, whether you are doing for someone who is not feeling well, whether you are doing it for someone who has passed away, whether you are doing for someone who is passing away, or whether you are doing when you are sick, whether you are doing when you are at the time when you are kind of passing away. So in order for those practices to become more powerful, effective, there are certain factors, and those factors make whether your practice become as powerful or not. Even though we might be doing the same practice, but depending on those factors, the practice can become less powerful, more powerful. One of the factors, important factors, is belief and faith in Medicine Buddha and the practice itself. And that we talk about every day. When you have a strong faith and belief in the practice itself of Medicine Buddha, your mind is more open, spacious, more suitable, and therefore you are able to get more benefit from that practice. If our mind is two-minded, maybe you have doubt, you don't totally have faith, belief in the practice itself, in the Medicine Buddha and all of that, then the practice, even though you are doing the practice, because of that factors, it might not become as strong, as effective as it can be. Another factors is, how sensitive we are doing practice, When you do practice, whether for yourself or someone else, the more sensitive you do it, the practice becomes more powerful. It comes from sincere heart, real heart. It's not just doing it, but it comes from good state of mind and sincere state of mind, and and then because of that, it becomes more powerful practice. The same practice. And then how well we do the practice. The more better we do the practice, the whole practice, in terms of recitation, visualization, in terms of motivation, all those different part of the practice, the more powerful it is. So those are some of the factors that can be how beneficial. And At the moment, we are talking about the medicine Buddha, but it can be same with all other Buddhas. Whenever we do any sadhana or practice that is related with particular Buddha, those factors are important in order to have better result from the practice. More powerful, more better result from the practice. So those are some of the factors that we have to remember, and then of course there is a power not only from outside all these conditions but factors, but also from the mantra itself is very powerful. Hmm? As it mentioned in the sutras, of course, I don't need to go all the details in sutras. Those 8 medicine Buddhas appear, and then finally, to heal the sickness, illness of sentient beings, then all together they recite these mantras. They proclaim these mantras, and so coming from enlightened beings, in order to heal and relieve the illness and negative karma and delusion from that. So there is that. Even in ordinary sound, certain sound has, different sound has different effect in our mind. Whether it sometimes is certain sound is very soothing, soothing your mind, making you relax. Certain sounds, it activates your mind. I think even in music, I think they are different, isn't it? Like some of those rock metals, I think it's like something, it activates people's mind, make them to kind of, automatically, that kind of sound, make them move, their bodies, and then certain sound, certain music, very soothing, quite, very relaxing. And also we can see also natural sound too. Different sounds have different effects. And of course those mantras has incredible sound to bring peace, calm, and heal and purify. Not only it's not only sound. The mantra is not just only the sound, but there is a deep meaning in that. It has a deep meaning. Each of those syllables has a deep meaning. Each of those syllables are manifestation. It's not just a letter or syllable. They are manifestations of enlightened, compassionate wisdom, healing wisdom, manifested in that syllable, in that sound. So it's not just like any other syllables, It's not anything like ordinary sound. The enlightened energy can manifest in different forms, They can manifest in like human form, they can manifest in animal form, they can manifest in the form of like trees, any other forms, and they can manifest in form of sound, letters, all of that. And those mantras are manifestation of that in the form of letter, the syllables, and the sound. And that is also something when we do the practice, we have to remember that, the when we visualize the mantras, Kung syllable in the middle, and then surround right here, uh, the medicine Buddha mantra, Da down, back and the Ma, back and the some over there, so in clockwise. Those syllables, when you visualize, you have to remember, and the letter, the syllable that you see is not just an ordinary syllables letter. It's actually enlightened, compassionate, healing energy, but in that particular form of that letter. And each letter is making their sound, not just a letter, like ordinary sound, like I see a letter here in this, it doesn't make that sound. But here, the letter is having the sound of the mantras, vibrations of that healing energy in that kind of sound and syllables. And that sound is not just a sound, but also it's that enlightened, compassionate, wisdom healing energy manifesting that particular sound. Understanding and remembering that also helps the practice to become more powerful. And then in most of the, when you do the daily practice, when you visualize, as we did yesterday, from the garlands of mantras, light and nectar flowing, and then, cleansing and purifying all the illness, physical, emotional, mental illness, healing them. So that, what we visualize is that kind of light and nectar flowing from that mantra and cleansing and purifying. Also, same way, we try to remember and recognize the nectars and the light. It's not just an ordinary light or nectars. Again, it's a same enlightened, compassionate, healing energy in the form of light, in the form of nectar. The ordinary light and ordinary that kind of some kind of nectar or fruit might not have the ability to clean all the delusions off, but that enlightened energy, healing energy of that enlightened beings in that form has that power to heal not only the illness, but also the delusion, also the obscurations, delusion obscurations. That's how it works. If you just think, ordinary light coming and that, then ordinary light doesn't have, the power to destroy or eliminate our negative karma and delusions. So how is that when we visualize doing that? Because it's not ordinary light. It is that enlightened, compassionate, wisdom, healing energy. But in that form, as I mentioned, they can come in different form all the time. And so that's what so any daily practice, we do that kind of visualization, we try to understand and remember that. And also when we understand and when we remember, it also helps to have more faith in those visualizations. Otherwise, our mind, am I just kidding myself? How can that light purify my negative karma, delusions, obscurations? And the power of the mantra, the power of the is incredible. Of course, like if you read all the sutras, incredible power of the mantra that is explained. Just by hearing those mantras, just by hearing those mantras, it can heal, it can purify the negative karma. Just by hearing it, reciting it is even more powerful. Not only you are hearing, by hearing, there's a lot of power that can heal and purify, but if you recite that, even more powerful. Not only you recite that, But you recite that with total faith and conviction, more powerful. Total, the more faith, the more stronger faith, more stronger conviction you have in that mantra, in that practice, again, it becomes more powerful. So again, these are the certain, and then in some of that, not only is mentioned in the sutras of those benefits, sometimes we might feel a little bit difficult to digest, isn't it? How sometimes we might wonder, just by hearing that mantra, just by reciting that mantra, can it really purify? Can it really that? Even though it's clearly mentioned by the Buddha in all the sutras, because we cannot say a lot of things that Buddha can say, fully enlightened can say. That's why in the Diamond Kata Sutras, Buddha explained all the benefit of, writing it, reciting, memorizing, sharing with others, reflecting, contemplating. Incredible benefit, he explained that by giving different examples. And then he also mentions, I'm going to explain only that much of benefit. If I explain all the benefit, your mind will be crazy. That's what he said, that your mind will get crazy. It means we wouldn't be able to conceive. We wouldn't be able to conceive. We wouldn't think, oh, maybe Buddha is lying or he's exaggerating, or how can that be? Your mind started to, doubt and all this. And so Buddha is saying, I'm not going to, even though there's all incredible benefit, I'm not going to tell all of you because you are not ready for that. Your mind is not ready for that. Because our mind is so, at the moment, our mind is so limited. We can only understand certain things, conceive. We cannot, what is out there, we cannot conceive everything. Even someone try to explain it, we don't have the capacity to understand and digest that. And so that is what Buddha, and I think that is same with the benefit of the mantras, Sometimes it's a little bit, we might find a little bit difficult to digest, but that is what Buddha explained. But not only Buddha explained in those sutras the benefit of all these, the mantras, hearing the mantra, reciting the mantras, and so forth, reflecting on the mantras. There was interesting kind of research. Some of you might have seen it, or you might have heard it. There's a Japanese doctors, Imoto. He did with a crystal, water crystal. He had produced quite a few books on that. And it's very interesting, he experimented, water with a different letter, let's say, with a love, compassion. And then he froze that water, take a frozen water, that crystal, he take pictures, and what kind of picture it comes. Then with the water, he had very negative words, very bad words, cursing words. He froze that same water, crystal, and then he take pictures, and then see what it comes in pictures. He does with that, label different words on the water. He did with the prayers. There was one river, very quite polluted river, and then take the pictures of that before, and then monks doing prayer, and after the prayers, pictures of same rivers and what it comes, Also, he does water someone to have negative thought, on the basis of that, then taking pictures of how is the water response react, and then having someone positive thought, and then how it's very interesting. And the some of the pictures with those, the differences between the pictures of that he took with the river before the prayers and after prayers. Huge difference in some of the pictures, what it comes in the camera, Before it seems, the waters, but after the prayer comes in very calming, soothing, and very nice color as well. And also with the different such as love, compassion words and cursing words, like those cursing words, the pictures come very dark. And the image is not so bright, not so interesting. But some of it with the words with the love, compassion, or certain spiritual prayers and like that. The picture you see is incredible, unimaginable, so beautiful, so bright, all of that. From what it stems from that experiment is that, as we mentioned, our thought have effect on the physical world, water and others. Our thought can have an effect. Positive thought can have positive effect. Negative thought have a negative effect. Our prayers have positive effect because it comes from good state of mind. And with that, it was interesting because even with that he did with the labels. In the sutras, some Buddha explained, certain mantras, just by touching it purifies. They're putting the mantra of someone's person who's passing away, So in certain sutta, they talk about, the benefit of seeing the mantras, even just seeing it, the benefit of that. Just touching on it, the benefit of that. Reciting that, benefit of that. Having the thought, contemplation, benefit. So from what his experiment, it seems to say, if in that cases, when it's touched by that positive word, it affects that, such as love, compassion, and other positive. That means definitely, just by touching those mantras, it has an impact, positive impact. The benefit. If this experiment is accurate, correct, accurate, it is from what Buddha said. The benefit of just by touching it. And then having the thought, which he did, and then saying it, all of that. So anyway, I just wanted to kind of share it. If you are interested, you can Google and see, I don't know, I don't remember his name, full name, Emoto. I can remember the EMOT or Emoto. And he had done, I've seen some of those pictures. I've seen at least one of those books, with the crystal pictures of, and it seems he had done quite a few. So anyway, that was quite interesting and fascinating. If that his research is accurate, not only the Buddha said that, but also from the research point of view, it seems to, um, what would be the right word? It is accurate what Buddha says. And what would be the word I'm trying to use?
To be confirmed, perhaps. Confirm.
Confirm, yeah. Confirm that. Anyway,
Online, they say it's Dr. Masaru Emoto.
okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I just wanted to share this. But the main point here, we are talking about the benefit of the mantras, the benefit of even just listening. And as one of the advice, our late Geshe Lama Sopa Rinpoche advice that we can help, such as other beings, including animals. We can help animals, physically and spiritually. Of course, physically, we try to help, give the love, compassion, feed them, make them comfortable, whatever. But spiritually, how we can help, because, even we try to teach them how to meditate, it might not be possible.
Ruby, yeah, right. Never going to happen.
If we teach them how to recite mantras, is that possible? Mantras, prayers, maybe exceptional some animals. Yeah, probably some better. But I've seen one dog, in Santa Fe a long time ago. Someone had a dog, two dogs. I don't know the different breed, different kinds of dogs. So I cannot. It looked more like Lhasa Apso, the Lhasa Apso, with the very. So anyway, he's one dog. So he tried to teach them the mantras, One of the dogs actually can say Om Ahum. Yeah. Om Oh Om. Yeah. Oh Oh. Each time he says he gives him a treat. The other dog cannot. At least he had one dog. He also taught him how to say Om Mani Padme too long. He cannot. He tried very hard. He tried very hard to make sound, but he cannot make the sound because it's too long for him. But I think Om Ahung just that particular dog he was able to say. That is the first dog I've ever seen. So anyway, the reason we are talking was, if we want to help them spiritually, it's hard. So the advice Lama Sopa, Khyentse Lama Sopa Moshe give, how we can help, is expose them to holy objects. Where they can see the holy objects. You can take them around the holy objects, circulating around the stupas, around the house, where if you have a Dharma books, you have the statues, angas. So if you take them around your house, it is circulating those holy objects. Of course, if you go some places where there's monasteries or stupas like that, temple, centers. But even in your house, if you have Dharma materials polish, you can just take around your house, time to time. Walk them around. That's one way of doing it, trying to recite the mantras. So they have the imprint of the mantras, also by hearing, as Buddha mentioned, it purified a lot of negative karma. Purified a lot of negative karma, and also they have the imprint of that dharma, So you can recite whenever possible, and then you can also try to play, constantly where they can hear constantly that mantras, It's interesting. I have a friend among a teacher in Hong Kong, and one of the members who passed away, and she had a dog. So he took care of the dog after she passed away, small dog. So in the center, he had a kind of stupa and holy objects, and he used to take the dog circumambulating, and in the evening the dogs go to pee. One day the dog went and didn't come, for a long time. He waited and didn't come for a long time, and he was a little worried. He went, and he was circumambulating. He took a good video. He sent me the video.
Oh.
Just going around and round and round.
Awesome.
And I don't know how, we cannot explain because it's just automatic, or he has some other sense or whatever, but it was, the dog was circumambulating. And in some of that, purifying and creating the positive marks and that, there's a story of, a practitioner at the time of Buddha, someone in his late age, elderly person, he wanted to become a monk. He came, asked for ordinations, Shariputra checked him and said, you don't have the karma to become a monk. So he wouldn't accept it. Shariputra is arhat, so he has certain higher, level of minds, to see quite far. But he couldn't see any kind of karma for him to take in and accept to become a monk. And he said, he didn't accept and said that, and he got very sad, because he really wanted to be. And he was crying, very sad, crying. And suddenly Buddha showed up and asked him what happened. And he said, I want to be a monk. And Shariputra says, I don't have the virtues, the karma to become a monk. And then Buddha said, oh, Shariputra is not fully enlightened. So his mind is still limited. He can only see up to a certain reincarnation of certain, he can only go further of karma and subtle karma and how much lifetimes and that. He cannot see everything. And Buddha says, he has the karma to become a monk, and he accepts. And Buddha in that explained the karma is when that person's in one of his previous life, was a fly, okay? And it is said, it was raining, and there was a cow dung. On top of the cow dung, there's the fly. And because it's rain, it took it one round about the stupa, It took through the rain, washing the dung and the fly on the dung. it did one kind of round, and Buddha said that was, that karma for him to. So that is the talk about the power of the holy objects, such as that stupas and that. And so that is, so therefore, those are the things how we can help, such as animals, spiritually, taking them around holy objects, reciting the mantras. Whenever possible, we recite, not we play, Although I saw one student, every time she feeds her dogs, she recite the dog food, medicine Buddha mantra, and she blow to it before she feed it, blessing the food, and the dog waiting. The dog knows that when she's reciting mantra, goodness is full time, and also the dog doesn't try to eat it until the mantra is finished, So it was nice. It is also kind of training to be patient, in terms of just kind of grabbing the food, And so, and I found it was very beautiful way of doing it, very nice, beautiful. So until she finished, the dog would, after she finished, then they will go and eat. And so those are some things that we can, if you feel, it can be helpful, beneficial. And that is one of the advice of our teacher, Keti Lama Sogaram Moshe, give, to how we can help spiritually for the animals, such as animals. With human beings, we can explain, teach them how to meditate, how to practice. There are different way of discussing, sharing knowledge, wisdom. So there are many, but animal might not have that access. And so those are the certain things that we can help. And again, as I mentioned before, the more stronger faith you have in the practice itself, whether it's the mantra, the practice itself, the more powerful it becomes, whether it's for yourself or whether you are doing for someone else. So each time, as I mentioned, those are some things, and then someone who is passing away, reciting the mantras, whether it's animal or human beings, as long as they don't have resistance. If in terms of human beings, if they don't want, they resist, then better not to force to do that. You can do quietly, you can dedicate, you can do prayer, practice, and dedicate for them. But if they have resistance to that mantra, you reciting mantra, then better not to force it. Do it quietly in your mind. But if they don't mind and if they're open, then it's good to recite that. It help them at the time of death and after the death. So and then as we already discussed, the mantra and the sound and the visualization of the light and nectars and understanding they are not ordinary but enlightened, compassionate, wisdom giving entities, and being aware of that, remembering and recognizing that when you do the practice, become more powerful, helpful. And so again, in such practice, you don't have to do, you can sometimes do just the nectars, which is more like a water, fluid, like taking showers. Or you can do the like a light, like when you turn on the light, dispelling the darkness, same way to the light, dispelling the darkness of all the delusion, obscuration, and that. And also like in terms of healing, sometimes they are like even in medicine, sometimes they are like through the light, like radiations, similar like that. But this one has no side effect, but only because it's light, so the light, like through that healing, whatever it is, and similar with the nectars. In some of the different visualizations, sometimes you find their descriptions of immediate or immediate kind of like a light, immediately kind of instantly kind of purifying and instantly dispelling the darkness of the illness, negative karma, delusion, obscurations. And then, of course, in some, they describe the nectar and purifying all of that and healing. In some, they describe both of them. And in one of the teachers' commentaries or explanation, of course, normally, when it is related with Mother Tantra practice, there's more this visualization and instant purifications, instant healing, like a light from the light. And because the Mother Tantra is more focused on the clear light practice, and so that light and clear light practice has some connections, And then Father Tantra, even though both Mother Tantra and Father Tantra explain both clear light and illusory rainbow bodies, how we achieve illusory rainbow body as well as cultivate the clear light mind. Both explain, but each of them emphasize on one particular quality. The Mother Tantra emphasize more on the clear light mind, and Father Tantra focus more on the illusory bodies, rainbow bodies, out of that, which is the method. And so when you do both of them, then it is both method and wisdom. When you visualize both nectars and the light. But that is what also is in terms of relation to that. And I think sometimes it can be helpful if we know that, can be helpful. So, and of course, we are going to do the practice later, when you come back and do the practice itself. Yesterday, I followed the first practice a little bit. In yesterday practice, I don't know if you remember, then you visualize yourself as a medicine Buddha. First you visualize the medicine Buddha, and then it dissolves into you, and you become medicine Buddha. And while you recite the medicine Buddha, then light radiates from your side, and then healing the illness of all sentient beings, and then purifying the negative karma delusions. That is how, that's what we call self-generations. There is two, front generation and self-generation. Front generation, you generate the Buddha in front of you, and through that, then you visualize light, nectar coming and healing and purifying all of that. Self-generation, you visualize as the deity yourself, and then through that, you do that. Normally, in order to do self-generations, you need the empowerment. Okay. If you don't have empowerment, you don't do the self-generation. You only can do front generations. But when it comes to the Buddha Shakyamuni, because Buddha Shakyamuni generally known as not part of the Tantra, part of the Sutra, so you can visualize as a Buddha Shakyamuni. Even in Sutra, like Lamrim and others, there is a practice that you can visualize as a Buddha Shakyamuni. So you don't need the empowerment to do that. Medicine Buddha, according to one of the masters, one highly respected teachers, from the Kagyu lineage, Tango Rinpoche, he passed away not long ago. I saw his commentary explanations, and he says medicine Buddha is also okay to do self-generations because medicine Buddha is not exclusively Tantra, is Sutra Tantra. Some other deities are exclusive Tantra practice. That is not a Sutra. Whereas medicine Buddha, there's Tantra and also Sutra as well. So in his explanation, since it's not exclusive Tantra, since it's also part of the Sutra practice as well, so it is okay to also do self-generation even without empowerment. So according to that practice. But generally, whatever practice, if you are interested in particular practice, it doesn't mean you cannot do the practice. You cannot do the self-generation, but in terms of reciting the mantra and doing the front generation practice, even without the empowerment, you can do those practice. There's no doubt, Without empowerment, you can do medicine Buddha practice, especially the front generation, reciting the mantra, whether it's Chelasic practice with Om Mani Padme, whether you do the, Manjushri practice, such as Umara Bhajanadis, Vasara purification practices of, you can do it. It doesn't. But is it better if there's an opportunity and if you feel ready? And if there is opportunity and you feel ready to have the empowerment, particularly the practice you are interested in, you really want to have the empowerment, thereby having the transmissions, the direct transmissions, blessings. And on the basis of having those transmissions, direct oral transmissions, and the blessing, the practice become more powerful. Especially if you want to help someone with such practice, if possible, it doesn't mean you have to kind of rush and run. You have to feel ready for that. And then when there's opportunity, empowerment, taking the empowerment. And after taking the empowerment, it's good to do a retreat, if you can, retreat week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and reciting certain number of the mantras, 100,000, whatever. And then every day you can recite some, when you have more, you recite more. When you have less, less time, you recite time. And you can do formal meditation practice. When you don't have formal time to do formal practice meditation, you can continue to recite while you are cooking, while you are preparing to cook, while you are gardening, while you are driving. You can always use that time to recite those mantras. Through such practice and recitation, you gain more and more power in that practice. The more you do, and by reciting and by doing those practice more and more power, then when you do those practice for others, it becomes more powerful. The more you do, the more you are able to, it becomes more powerful to help others. less, if you don't, if less you do, then even you try to practice, it helps even a bit, but it becomes less powerful than someone who have done those practice so much. And also, it can be helpful also if you are taking medicines, doing the medicine Buddha, practice, and then visualize the medicine Buddha after the recitation, visualize in then and then dissolve into all the medicine itself, and then taking the medicine. And actually, in the Tibetan medicine and astrology departments, where they have Tibetan medicine departments all over the world, especially in Asia, like India, Nepal, Bhutan, many other parts, there, every day before they start the work, all the staff, the doctors, the pharmacists, everyone who works there, they come together, they do the medicine, do the practice before they start. Before the doctors started to check patient, before pharmacists started to give the medicines, everyone who involved, they try to do that. And so again, to be able to do that can be also helpful for yourself or for others. So those are the little bit of some information about the practice. Definitely we'll do more practice. Also, we will also, as today we explain about the Buddhas, implement posture, colors, what they symbolize, what that little bit all yesterday, and we did explanation and practice. Either today, tomorrow, we'll also go to the meaning of the mantras, what it means, not only the syllables that you see and the sound, but also what is the meaning of the mantras, we can also to know that also can be helpful. And so when you are doing practice, such as medicine Buddha practice, sometimes you can do contemplations while you are reciting the mantras. Sometimes you can do the visualization while you are reciting the mantras. The visualization, as we did, healing yourself, purifying your negative karma delusion, as well as healing other sentient beings who need help, purifying their negative karma, purifying the obscurations. You can do those different visualizations, Sometimes you can do the contemplative, such as yesterday we talk about online practice while you are doing that recitation mantras, or you can do meditation bodhicitta while you are reciting the mantras. While you do the Buddhist meditations, you can send, and after meditating, while you are doing, you can visualize sending all the love and compassion in the form of light, or you can do meditation on emptiness while you are reciting mantras. So you can combine sometimes contemplative, lumbering meditation into it, And sometimes we just try to do, concentrations, as we mentioned. Sometimes you can just visualize the deity as yourself or as the deity in the front. You just hold that image, and while you are reciting the mantra, you recite the mantra, but in terms of your mind, you hold that object and you don't think anything else. Or sometimes you can just listen to the mantras while you are reciting and just focusing on the sound. So when you just focus on the sound, not thinking anything else, then again, it can help your mind to quiet, peaceful. I find helpful sometimes when we are doing retreat, a lot of recitation for mantras, for 4 sessions, 3 sessions, each session hour, 2 hours like that, because you are spending a lot of time. And so, when you do this contemplative analytical meditation all the time, your mind can be a little tired sometimes because your mind is so active, constantly contemplating, constantly analyzing, analytical meditation. And sometimes when you then to relax your mind and to rest your mind from being too tired of too much contemplating, then just listening to the mantra and that can be very restful, peaceful, calm. You stop your mind being too active of that kind of different analysis, different contemplative, but you just quiet your mind and just all your concentration just to the sound of the mantra. And after some time, you find your mind very relaxed, calm, soothing. And so that was how we can use this meditation, this practice of medicine Buddha in so many different ways. It's not only one way of practice. You can implement and you can combine many different practice within that one practice. I thought maybe I could take some questions before we start the practice.
Questions.
Questions. Yeah, you can do that.
Sorry, people, I've got to online ask questions. Give us a minute or two. Oops.
Can I ask a question?
Not yet. Okay. The first one is
I've been told.
the first question is there an empowerment given for Guru Vajrasattva?
But yeah, normally there are. I don't know. Sometimes if someone is interested, they have to maybe check. You can just keep eye watch on that. Some teachers in certain times, so I don't know exactly whether there is anything happening at the moment.
So it is possible, but we need to find where
Yeah,
to get it.
where
Yeah,
to get
okay.
or how you to get,
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And the other one is what is best practice to minimize harm and negativities from eating meat?
There is a mantra to recite when you eat. You will find some of the prayer books. I think it could be in the morning. There's what transformation with the blessing of the speech and like that. I'm not sure. It could be in that. Yeah, it could be there. And so you can recite that mantra. That's the blessing of that, and also reciting medicine Buddha mantras, and then dedicating your virtues for those who have been died or killed. Yeah.
That's it. I can answer. Let somebody here go first.
Yes.
Yeah.
To the colours of the different medicine. Should we explain them different colours of the name?
The others, eight medicine Buddha, I don't really know significance of those different colors. The first three are yellow and
red.
yellow. And the next three are pink, red,
So when we visualize the colours, there's no meaning attached to the colours.
there must be, but I'm not aware
Okay.
that I don't know. I haven't seen myself, I haven't come across any kind of commentaries that explain that. I've seen commentary, come through commentary that explain about the main medicine Buddha, the blue one, but I haven't come through any commentary that would explain the other medicine Buddhas, the colors, the condition of that. Yeah, sorry about that.
Okay, should I ask a
Yeah.
question?
Repeat the question from
Talk about having the courage to come back with the samsara, as opposed to not opposed, or the other alternative, if you have the virtue to be born in Pure Land. I suppose without sounding egotistical, I'm not. It's like, is it a risk coming? How like you have to be on the bodhisattva path. For me, I thought that was an advanced practitioner to be able to choose a family. Now, for me, I'm not advanced. So how do I know, with my prayers and aspirations, that I will be born in a Dharma family? Like I could be born in a family that's into football or meat pies, And I'm not interested, like seriously, like the way the world's going, very materialistic.
Magpie?
Yeah.
Meat pie, meat pie.
Yeah, the bird,
No.
Meat, it's a pie.
Oh, okay.
My serious point is, like, is it a risk? Who's really devoted to the Dharma these days? Like, no, I'm not saying nobody, but materialism versus Dharma practitioners is very slim. So, I suppose my question is it safer to go to a Pure Land than to rebirth?
What should I ask?
Also, going to Pure Land also there is no guarantee too. It's not about having the wish, it's about creating the cause and condition. So, even coming as of course, like if you want to come as human beings, and we have to create a cause and condition for sure, but also having stating the intentions to be born, setting the intention to be born in a conducive families, in a human families conducive for the Dharma, and dedicating for that whatever virtues practice we do, of course we do dedication for many other things, but also dedicating to be able to have the conducive and family support in our Dharma practice. And setting the intention, motivation, and dedicating that, and then creating the cause and condition, which means to have a human rebirth, generally moral disciplines, the practice of patience, and the practice of generosity, the dedication, and those are things that we do. And if we have created all the right cause, condition, dedicate, and set the motivation thing, so you don't have to worry so much about that. You just create the cause and conditions.
So you don't need to be on the 7th or 8th round to be able to, like, you don't need to be a super advanced practitioner.
No.
That's what I'm getting at, right?
No.
Right.
Not only is 8th ground, 9th ground, or 7th ground, to be, even when you become first ground Arya, they can make those choice where they want to born. You don't even have to be actually Arya beings, even in the second path, probably you the bodhisattvas. After the first path of accumulation, and within that there are 3 levels. I think once you are above the higher levels of that, then you pretty much can have some choice
Right, okay,
where you want to be kind of born.
okay.
Until then, maybe we might not have the choice. In terms of choice, it's more about creating the right cause and condition, understanding what the cause and condition, and creating the right cause and conditions for that. Yeah. And I think once you create the right cause and condition, you don't have to be wary and fearful about what might happen, what might not happen. Trusting in your practice, trusting in your practice, trusting in the Buddha's teachings, where it clearly explains what are the cause and conditions to have such rebirth, and is about creating those cause and conditions. And then on the basis of trust. Yes.
I was just going to ask you, Geshe, what are the commitments required if you go to take the empowerment?
It depends on the teachers. Each teachers decide what commitments. Mostly when you take a lower Tandara practice, such as medicine Buddha, normally it's part of the lower Tantara practice or Kriya Tantara. Maybe lower Tantara is maybe sometime I don't know what to say. Kriya Tantara is part of action Tantara or Kriya Tantara. Mostly in those empowerments, the commitments sometimes is to recite the mantras. Sometimes there might not be commitment. Sometimes it's to recite the mantras. Some teachers maybe a short practice. There's more commitment when you take the high yoga tantra. To need and do some. But like when it is a Kriya Tantara, a lot of time the teacher might not give any commitment. In some cases, maybe recitation of mantras or short sadhanas, So it depends on teacher. So if someone wish to take those empowerment, it's good to find out before what are the commitments. And normally you should have some ideas what the commitment might be. As I mentioned, I don't know, I don't mention here, but I keep following Dalai Lama, I've noticed in the last years, even with the high yoga tantra initiations, as well as Kriya Tantra, he asked commitment to do practice meditation on bodhicitta and emptiness. That has been his commitment in recent time. A lot of times he doesn't give any sadhanas. He said the commitment is to meditate on bodhicitta and the emptiness, the wisdom every day. That is what I've noticed with his honest in the later part. So different teachers can. So it depends on the teacher. So then you have to inquire it. If someone is offering some empowerment and if you feel you want to take it, so then it is good to inquire if there's any commitment or not. If there's commitment, what are the commitments? Yeah, because there's no kind of fixed commitment. Every teacher does slightly different. Some teachers really, more strict, and some teachers really more kind of less strict. Yeah. Yes, please.
Okay. With voluntary assisted dying, how can we best help the people with Medicine Buddha?
Yeah, again, especially if they are open to the practice, definitely it makes much easier. You can do the practice, and if they are open and if they are ready to do, then you can lead and guide them very simple meditations. You can ask the person to visualize medicine Buddha, even though if they can just visualize a blue light, which is the enlightened healing energies. Even they cannot visualize the Buddha Shakyamuni clearly, but they can just see the blue light, something blue light, that is the enlightened healing energy. Yes. And then from that, while you recite, even they cannot recite, they can just listen and just visualize lights, nectar flowing from that blue energy, enlightened blue energy, and then, cleansing, purifying whatever fear, worry, anxieties, illness that they might have, whatever, negative energy that we might have created, whatever affect to emotions, obscuration that might. So if they help guide them to visualize and feel that they all have been clean, purified, But again, it also depends on the individual whether they are open, ready, or not. Or whether they can do that. There were some people are too confused to be able to follow that. Some people might be too confused. Some people might not have the energy to do that. Too tired, too weak. So it depends. If they cannot follow it, then you just do the medicine Buddha yourself, visualize the medicine Buddha in above that person, and then while you do the medicine Buddha, then you visualize from that light coming, and then cleansing, purifying all of that, and then receiving the all the spiritual realizations, healing powers, competence, and so that so one can try to do that visualization, and recite the mantra loudly if they are okay. But if someone who is dying, if they have a resistance, or if they are not interested, then you do quietly those practice. Quietly do the visualization. You also quietly, you don't have to do loudly. So it depends on the person who's dying. Yes, please.
It's still helpful if you do the practice for someone who died a long time ago.
Absolutely, absolutely. Normally we try to do during the 49 days, because that is where they could be in the Parto state for the 49 days, and by the 49 days they will have one rebirth, one of the 6 realms. They have always have taken any of the rebirth. But again, even they have taken rebirth, there is nothing wrong doing a practice, because they still, wherever they are, they still be, in samsara. They could be experiencing the suffering in samsara, and they still be dealing with the negative karma, delusions. So then we do those practice and dedicate wherever they are, wherever they might be, to be free from all the suffering, all the fear, all the negative karma, delusions. Dedicate them to, have a better life, more less struggle and better condition and better life, and to develop spiritual realizations and like that. So we can dedicate for anyone, and so therefore it doesn't hurt and harms. We can always do that. Yeah. And so that is that in the people sometimes just practice. They invite monks or nuns or others, even after 1 year's anniversaries, they do ceremony, dedicate for that person. Sometimes some family they do for 5 years, every year that years. Sometimes they even do maybe 10 years, but most family in Tibet and community and people in the Himalayan regions. At least almost everyone does the first year anniversary, they will invite some to do some prayers and dedicate. Yeah. Yes, please. Okay.
I'm curious to know if you eat airline food now.
Hmm?
I'm curious to know if you eat airline food now.
Airline food?
No, on the aeroplane, do you eat now?
You're not nauseous when you fly. Can you eat the airline food?
A bit left there.
What do you think? No, I eat. I enjoy.
Good.
No. I've been eating for a long time now. That problem has gone for many years now.
Good.
That was at the very beginning, few years. It took me 2 flights after that to overcome that. The first flight when I remember that, and in my mind maybe once I remember that, then I was able to say, oh, maybe it's something to do with that memory, So it's something to do with my mind that came in my mind. Maybe there's nothing physical, it is all in my mind. Once I was able to connect that, remember that and connect that, and once I try to, tell myself in my mind is all coming from my mind because of that. And as I said, I started to feel a little better. And that gave me even more confidence because that seems to be the case. And the next time it's better. And then after that, I don't have that kind of any problem anymore. So I enjoy the meal very much. Yes, please.
Is this realm, the human realm, is this sort of best one for breaking free from samsara? So I just ask because I've read that in the upper realms, people kind of get lazy and, it's very pleasant and lovely because they were virtuous before, but then maybe they just go sort of float downwards and get,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Among the 6 realms, the human realm is the best because they say it's more balanced. Some of the lower realm, the suffering is too intense. When suffering is too intense, then you cannot commit, that you cannot concentrate. Even in this life, we see that when suffering is too intense, then you only think of how to relieve from that pain, and you don't have energy or way to think about other things. But when you don't have any suffering or much pain, then you get distracted and you feel you don't need the Dharma. Even in this life, probably sometimes you find yourself in that situation. Sometimes I find people when they have dealing with some problem in their life, they're inspired to the Dharma, they come to the practice, they do more dedicated. But when this problem solved and things are more smooth, then they maybe I don't need to go to center. Oh, maybe I don't need to do the practice, and they get a little distracted with other things, until something happens, and then again, they are more encouraged, inspired to do. Even in our life, we can see a little bit of that, So sometimes little suffering help us to wake up. It's like kind of a wake up call. And so it is mentioned in the God realms. Within the God realms, and desire God realm, form God realm, formless God realms. Buddhism, we have lot. And so in those God realms, there's no, especially in the formless God realms, there is no intense suffering. suffering of pain, like we have, and there is no even suffering of change, where we have some. So because they don't have that such suffering, of course, still they are in the state of samsara and in the state of suffering, to say, because they are still not free from the delusion and karma. So they are still prisoner of the they are still prisoner of the karma and delusion. Therefore, we call they are still suffering in that sense, but not suffering in a sense intense, physically, emotionally, pain. And when you don't have that, then it is said they get distracted and their enjoyment is lost. And so they get distracted. Because you get distracted, then you forget the Dharma. You don't think the importance of, you don't feel need importance of that. And so you can get distracted. And because of that, so human realm is more balanced in that way. There's little suffering to kind of keep up on the toll, to remind us. But not so intense like some other lower realm where you cannot, it's so intense you cannot function, use your mind because you're too distracted, too overwhelmed by that thing. And on the basis of that is known as the human realms is more suitable for practicing the Dharma. And from tantric point of view, then there is even more, because when you practice higher Tanda, then you are working on your nadis, channels, drops, wind, and that kind of body, not other things like that. And so they don't have same kind of chakras, nadis, drops, wind, energy like that human being have. So from that perspective, I can, why humans are more suitable for those such practice. Yeah, so that is, and even some bodhisattva is in some teachings they explain, even the bodhisattvas, maybe not highly realized, maybe where they don't have the choice or that, but who have born in a low, highly birth, pure, then some of them, they make prayer to come into the impure land where there's more suffering so they can benefit and help. And also when there's more suffering, they say it's easy, as we mentioned before, for someone who have more courage is more powerful, the human land, because there is more suffering compared to pure land. So when you see the suffering, there's a more possibility of generating compassion more quickly, more strongly. It's like you can imagine someone suffering. On the basis of imagine someone suffering, you can still develop loving and compassion. And then actually seeing someone who is really suffering, not just imagining. When you actually really see someone there in state that you are imagining, really, then that compassion can be very strong, to arising of the compassion more quickly and more strongly. On the basis of that, then also sometimes they say, that's why some of the bodhisattvas here, their bodhicitta to become more strong. And also those who are inclined or have interest in bodhisattva practice, for that reason also they will prepare the human lands. Yeah.
I think there was one more question. Somebody may want to know, is there some reading or book that might be available to read more about Medicine Buddha?
Yeah, there is I'm not so good at recommending books in English. Because I don't read myself so much. Most of the things that I read are in Tibetan. And sometimes I don't know what books are available in English, and sometimes even I saw something, I haven't read it, so it's hard to recommend, not recommend, so I'm not the best person sometimes. But one for sure I know, which I have also read, is Ultimate Healing by Lama Zopa Rinpoche. There's one book called titles as Ultimate Healing. Yeah, and so that one I know and I can recommend that. But I'm sure there are so many other books that I'm not familiar with. So yeah. So I think we are going to do the practice. And I might do even a little bit. Again, we will start with the quieting our mind. With every practice, every meditation, it's good to start with that. Make yourself comfortable, relaxed. And just focus on your breath for a few moments. Then we can think or contemplate the purpose of my life. It's not only just to be concerned with my own well-being, only my own well-being. That will be too selfish. That will be limiting our own potentials. Since we are potential, not only to achieve our happiness, but to be able to help to achieve others' happiness as well. Therefore, the purpose of my life is to be able to help and benefit sentient beings, to free and liberate them from all the suffering permanently, as well as the cause of all the suffering and pain. And to help them to achieve not only temporary happiness, but lasting to ultimate happiness. But to be able to help them to do that, if I'm not fully enlightened, how much I can help them is very limited. And to be able to help them limitlessly to all sentient beings, I must achieve fully awakened state of medicine Buddha. And in order to achieve that fully awakened state of medicine Buddha, I need to engage in the practices. By cultivating true loving kindness, compassion, bodhicitta mind, wisdom, and by engaging in the bodhisattva practice such as its perfection. And for the success of all this practice, I need all the blessings and help from the Guru, the Buddha, the medicine Buddha. Therefore, I'm going to do this practice. Also, in order for the success of all this practice, I need to purify all the obstacles, need to gather all the conducive conditions, create merit. For that, I'm going to do the medicine Buddha practice. And also, in order to be able to practice, I need to have good health, all the right conditions of oneself and all sentient beings. For that reason, I'm going to practice this practice. Also, I'm going to do this practice for all sentient beings who are dealing with their physical, emotional, mental pain, illness, suffering. As well as for those who are dying now, so they can have peaceful transitions. And those who have already died, and basically for all sentient beings. And you can think all sentient beings surrounding you engage in the practice together, equaling the space, all in human form. And you can try to, especially that for people or beings that you want to dedicate and practice, you can think of them in front of you or in your heart at the moment. Then in the space, you visualize the lotus. On top of lotus, there's a moon cushion. On top of the moon cushions is your root guru in the form of medicine Buddha. Blue in color. right hand in the gesture or mudra of blending sublime realizations, holding the medicine plant. Left hand in a meditative posture, holding the lapis lazuli bowl filled with nectar. Wearing the three monks robe. With pinnacle of Ushnisha on the top. Dark blue curl hair, long ears, narrow eyes, slightly open, slightly closed. Looking with great compassion to all sentient beings. Slightly smiling. Radiating, glowing with the light. Full of unconditional love, compassion, unbiased love, compassion, each and every sentient being. Embracing each and every sentient being without any bias. And with the wisdom, knowing predisposition of each and every sentient beings, the state of mind, level of karma, exactly what is the best for each and every sentient being. And that Guru Medicine Buddha is embodiment of all the Buddhas as well, all the Buddhas in one. Also is the Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. And generate a strong faith and refuge to Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, the Medicine Buddha. That from now on until we achieve enlightenment, I will go in refuge and rely on you all the time, no matter what happens, not only easy times, also most difficult times. Never give up. So then we go to refuge in Bodhicitta. Step number 7. I go to refuge until I lie to the Buddha, Dharma, by my practice of giving and other perfections, may I become a Buddha in order to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I lie to the Buddha, my experience, by my practice of giving and other perfections. May I become a Buddha in order to benefit all sentient things. I go for refuge in life to the Buddha, my experience, by my practice of giving and other perfections. May I become a Buddha in order to benefit all sentient things. So again, we try to do the whole immeasurable, feeling that to all sentient beings that is surrounding us. Again, we recite one of them, spend a few moments to feel the meaning of those words that we recite. May all sentient beings have happiness and progress in happiness. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and causes of suffering. May all sentient beings never be separated from the happiness that is without suffering. May all sentient beings abide in equanimity, free from both attachment and hatred, holding some close, others distant. Then cultivating special bodhicitta, especially for the benefit of all sentient beings. I will quickly, very quickly, attain the state of perfect, complete Buddhahood. For this reason, I will practice the yoga of Guru Medicine Buddha. And again, 7 lim, we recite each of the lines, and we spend again few seconds, minutes, to feel and visualize and feel what we are reciting. I prostrate to the Guru Medicine Buddha. Each and every offering, including those actually performed and those mentally transformed, I present to you. So you can imagine all your virtues, all your practice, transforming the different aspect of the offering, different form of offering, filling the whole space, making those offerings. And the Guru Medicine Buddha delightfully accept for our giving us opportunity to create the merit. And generate great bliss and emptiness in their heart by experience and all. Next. I confess all non-virtuous actions accumulate since beginningless time. So we regret all the negative karma that we might have created from the beginning of lifetime till now through our body, speech, and mind, motivated by either attachment, anger, ignorance. We truly regret and cultivate a strong resolution that we will try all our best not to create such negative karma again in the future. And for the blessing and guidance of the Guru Medicine Buddha to be able to do that. Next, I rejoice in the virtues of both ordinary and noble. We rejoice in our own virtues for taking the time to come here to learn, to practice, and all other virtues that we have created through body, speech, and mind. How wonderful. We rejoice in the virtues of all our gurus, Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, Arhats, those who are on the path, as well as the virtues of all the ordinary beings. How wonderful. Next. As our guide, I request you, O Buddha, to please abide well and turn the wheel of Dharma until samsara ends. And Medicine Buddha delightfully accept our request to abide until each and every sentient being is liberated, and to help by turning the wheel of Dharma. Next. All virtues, both my own and those of others, I dedicate to the arising of the two bodhisattvas and the attainment of Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings. And we do the mandala request. This ground anointed with perfume, strewn with flowers, adorned with Mount Meru, the four continents, the sun and the moon. I imagine it as Buddha field and offer it. May all living beings enjoy this pure land, the object of my attachment, aversion, ignorance, friends, enemies, pressures, and my body with enjoyments. Without any sense of loss, I offer this collection. Please accept it, pleasure, and bless me with the freedom of the request. Then the request. I beseech you, Bhagwan Medicine Guru, whose sky color, holy body of love is blessing, signify omniscient wisdom and compassion, as vast as limitless space. Please grant me your blessings. I beseech you, compassionate medicine guru, who hold in your right hand the king of medicine, symbolizing your vow to help all pitiful sentient beings, plagued by the 424 diseases. Please grant me your blessings. I beseech you, compassionate medicine guru, who hold in your left hand a bowl of nectar, symbolizing your vow to give the glorious undying nectar of Dharma, that eliminates the degeneration of sickness, old age, and death. Please grant me your blessings. So we can imagine and visualize the medicine Buddha delightfully accept our request. So happy to see that we want to improve ourselves, that we want to help benefit other sentient beings. Then you can visualize at the heart of the medicine Buddha, Guru medicine Buddha, white moon cushions. On top of that, in the center of moon cushions, the Hung syllable, Hung letter syllable, blue in color, standing up. And around it, clockwise, surrounded by the mantras of the medicine Buddha, Tayata, Bekante, Bekante, Mar Bekante, Bekante, and Samunga Desloka. If you cannot visualize clearly, you just think that all these mantras are there standing. And all of them crystal clear, transparent. When you look from the outside mantras, you can see the Hung syllables. When you look from the Hung syllable, you can see the outside, all transparent, light. And again, having that sound of those mantras, the vibration, energy of that sound. Which has the power to heal any illness and purify. Again, we can try to recognize and understand the Hung syllable and the garlands of mantras are actually medicine Buddha's enlightened, exalted, compassionate wisdom, the healing power, healing energy, manifesting in that form, syllables, and that sound to heal all the illness of all sentient beings, to purify. As we recite the mantras, chant the mantras, you can visualize from the garlands of mantra and the Hung syllables that exalted, enlightened, exalted, compassionate wisdom, energy of healing power, again, manifest in the form of white light with a bluish and nectar entering oneself, as well as all sentient beings, especially those who need help. You can especially visualize them, entering them from the crown, entering the whole body, in and out. And cleansing and purifying all the illness, the physical illness. What is bothering us, whatever is bothering them, the very moment that light and nectar touch it, it instantly heals that illness. Whether it's a physical illness, emotional, mental illness. Not only it heals that, also all the negative karma, which are the future potential for more suffering in the future or illness, also being completely cleansed, purified. All the negative emotions are also completely cleared, purified of oneself, all sentient beings, as well as all the obscuration. Like when you take showers, all the dirt are completely clean, purified. Or like flushing, instantly, all clear, completely. So while keeping that kind of visualization as much as possible, we recite and chant the mantra. Ayata Om Be Kanse Be Kanse Maha Be Kanse Be Kanse Santa Samu Gati Soha Ayata Be Kanse Be Kanse Maha Be Kanse Be Kanse Santa Samu Gati Soha Ayata Om Be Kanze Be Kanze Maha Be Kanze Be Kanze Banda Samo Gate Soha Ayata Om Be Kanze Be Kanze Maha Be Kanze Be Kanze Banda Samo Gate Soha Ayata Om Be Kanze Be Kanze Maha Be Kanze Be Kanze Landa Samo Gade So Ayata Om Be Kanze Be Kanze Maha Be Kanze Be Kanze Landa Samo Gade So Ayata Be Kanze Be Kanze Ma Be Kanze Be Kanze Asa Samo Gade So Ayata Om Be Kanze Be Kanze Ma Be Kanze Be Kanze Asa Samo Gade So Ayata Om Be Kanze Be Kanze Ma Be Kanze Kanze Banda Samo Gate So Ayata Be Kanze Be Kanze Ma Be Kanze Be Kanze Banda Samo Gate So Ayata Om Be Kanze Be Kanze Ma Be Kanze Be Kanze Banda Samo Gate So Ayata Be Kanze Be Kanze Ma Be Kanze Be Kanze Banda Samo Gate So Ayata Be Kanze Be Kanze Ma Be Kanze Be Kanze Banda Samo Gate So Ayata Om Be Kanze Be Ma Be Kanze Be Kanze Banda Samo Gate So Ayata Om Be Kanze Be Kanze Ma Be Kanze Be Kanze Banda Samo Gate So Ayata Om Be Kanze Be Kanze Ma Be Kanze Be Kanze Banda Samo Gate So Ayata Be Kanze Be Kanze Ma Be Kanze Be Kanze Banda Samo Gate So Ayata Be Kanze Be Kanze Ma Be Kanze Be Kanze Banda Samo Gate So Ayata Be Kanze Be Ma Be Kanze Be Tanze, Tanza, Samo, Gade, So, Tayata, Onde, Tanze, Tanze, Mabe, Tanze, Tanze, Tanza, Samo, Gade, So, Tayata, Onde, Tanze, Mabe, Tanze, Tanza, Samo, Gade, So. So visualize and imagine a total convictions, by the flow of that enlightened or exalted, compassionate wisdom, healing energies, flow in the form of white light and nectar and healing oneself or whatever illness, problem, and all sentient beings, especially for whom who want to do the practice. All their illness has been completely cured, healed. All their negative karma has been completely clean, purified. All the disturbing negative emotion has been completely cleansed, purified. All the obscurations have been completely cleansed, purified. Completely calm, empty. Not even one trace of any, not even one atom left. Not even one trace of those energy, negative energy. Gone. And one said all sentient beings, especially those who are dealing with the illness or dead or who have passed away. And all sentient beings become like crystal clear. Clear, like crystal, pure, undiluted. Most conducive situation and condition to receive all the blessings and all the spiritual realizations. As we recite more, and we visualize, imagine, again, that enlightened, exalted, compassionate wisdom, healing energy of all the medicine Buddha in the form of yellow, orange light, nectar flow. In the through our crown, feeling our whole body of oneself, all sentient beings, receiving all the blessing of life and body, speech and mind. Fill our whole body with that. Receive all the healing energies to be able to heal oneself and other sentient beings of all the illness. And receiving all the spiritual realizations, especially pure renunciation, bodhicitta mind, and wisdom realizing empty. And filling all our beings with those spiritual realizations. While keeping that visualizations we recite one more. Ayata Om Be Kanse Be Kanse Mahabe Kanse Be Kanse Kansa Samogate So Ayata Be Kanse Be Kanse Mahabe Kanse Be Kanse Kansa Samogate So Ayata Be Kanse Mahabe Kanse Kanse Kansa Samogate So Ayata Be Kanse Kanse Mahabe Kanse Kanse Kansa Samogate So Ayata Be Kanse Mahabe Kanse Kansa Samogate So Ayata Be Kanse Be Kanse Mahabe Kanse Be Kanse Kansa Samogate So Ayata Be Kanse Be Mahabe Kanse Be Kanse Kansa Samogate So. So again, visualize, imagine, and think with total convictions that we receive all the blessing of bodies, enlightened body, speech, and mind, all the healing energy, all the power of healing energy, all our body filled with that. And all the spiritual realization, filled with all the spiritual realization, all the positive state of mind. Especially pure renunciation, non-attachments, Ochida mind, non-anger, and the wisdom, non-ignorance. And by being filled with all these spiritual realization, healing energies, and the blessings, every part of body, every atom, every cell is made of those blessings, spiritual realizations, healing energy. Because of that, we feel whole body, mind, filled with the great bliss. Try to experience the great bliss. Try to rest in the blissfulness. And as we recite the mantras, we just try to focus either on the sound or just try to rest and experience that blissfulness. Ayata Om De Kanse Kanse Mahabe Kanse De Kanse Kasta Samogate So Ayata Om De Kanse De Kanse Mahabe Kanse De Kanse Kasta Samogate So Ayata Om De Kanse De Mahabe Kanse Kanta Samogate So Ayata Be Kanse Be Kanse Mahabe Kanse Be Kanse Kanta Samogate So Ayata Om Conserve, conserve, Mahadev, conserve, conserve, Rasa Samo, Gate Soha, Tayata Om, conserve, conserve, Mahadev, conserve, conserve, Rasa Samo, Gate Soha, Tayata Om, conserve, Mahadev, conserve, conserve, Samo, Gate Soha, Tayata conserve, conserve, Mahadev, conserve, conserve, Samo, Gate Soha, Tayata conserve, conserve, Mahadev, conserve, conserve, Samo, Gate Soha, Tayata conserve, conserve, Mahadev, conserve, conserve, Samo, Gate Soha, Tayata conserve, conserve, Mahadev, conserve, conserve, Samo, Gate Soha, Tayata conserve, conserve, Mahadev, conserve, conserve, Samo, Gate Soha, Tayata conserve, conserve, Mahadev, conserve, conserve, Samo, Gate Soha, Tayata conserve, conserve, Mahadev, conserve, conserve, Samo, Gate Soha. Then the Guru mentioned Buddha dissolved into the light, and the light dissolved into yourself. Your body, the Guru's body, and the mentioned Buddha's body become one inseparable. Your speech, Guru's speech, and the Buddha's mentioned Buddha's speech become one inseparable. Your minds, Guru's mind, and Buddha's mentioned Buddha's mind become one inseparable. Try to experience and try to rest, stay in that oneness, free from all the duality. Then we dedicate all the virtues that we have created, once and all sentient beings in 3 times, especially during this weekend, whatever virtues, merit we have created, for the quick recovery and a cure of all sentient beings who are dealing with illness, sickness. Whatever medicine, treatment, all become effective. And they all cure and heal completely, fully, and have a great health. And we also dedicate those who are in the process of dying. May they all be healed of their mind, may they have peaceful, meaningful, joyful transition. And may all sentient beings who have passed away, wherever they are now, may they be free from all the fear, suffering, cause of suffering. May they all have perfect human rebirth, meet the Dharma from the very young age, and actualize the Dharma within their mind stream through practice. And achieve fully awakened state. And we also dedicated all the virtues merit to be able to actualize and fully develop the Bodhicitta mind and wisdom relies in the reality within our mind stream, the mind stream of all sentient beings. Those who have already actualized, not diminish, but increase more and more. We also dedicate for the long life of His Own Dalai Lama, all the Gurus, and all their wishes be fulfilled without any obstacle. Anyway, may we be always under their guidance and care until we achieve fully awakened state. So, some of the book, the dedications. Page number 14. Due to all these merits, may I complete the ocean-like action of the Son of the Victorious One. May I become the holy refuge and helper for sentient beings who have repeatedly been kind to me in the past life. By the virtues received from attempting this practice, may all living beings see, hear, touch, or remember me, even those who merely say my name. In that very moment, be released from their rituals and experience happiness forever. As all sentient beings, infinite as space, are encompassed by Guru medicine, Buddha compassion. May I too become the guide for sentient beings existing throughout all directions of the universe. Because of these virtues, may I quickly become the Guru medicine Buddha and lead each and every sentient being into that new life. So if you go to the other prayer for the teaching occasion, that's all.
Mm.
The dedications. Yes. Okay, page number 9. Where you say dedication prayers, page number 9. Yewa Roma Citam Madhupa Deri Sana Purpashom Tancho Sento Rinpoche Ake Pana Ke Doshin
Ke wa nyam pa me pa ya. Gong le gong du farewell.
His Holy Dalai Lamas. Oh, okay, the next one. Dong ye da wa rin po she.
Ma ke pa nam ke Geshe. Ke wa nyam pa me pa ya. Gong le gong du farewell.
Long life for His Holy Dalai Lama in English. The wish granting, wish fulfilling joy,
Source of every single benefit and happiness in this world. To the incomparably kind yet so I
I
beseech.
beseech may all your holy wishes be spontaneous. For the fifth return of the Dalai Lama, the other prayer. Dear best teacher and assembly of children of victorious ones, Prabhakaras, Patriarch Buddhas, victorious awesome Father and Sons, alone of the various masters, all the objects of refuge in the lands. Please bestow the virtues and goodness to accomplish this prayer here and now. Holding and spreading the most precious and complete teachings through explanation and practice. You are the among patience that is never discouraged. Incomparable Guru, to you I make request. While striving single-pointedly for the sake of your glorious one's teaching, the soul gave way to reach all benefit and happiness in it. From all living beings, he suddenly departed to peace. What a great loss! Nevertheless, through the unfailing truth of blessings of national individuals, and the great waves of Bodhicitta of the children of victorious one, may the smile of reincarnation swiftly gain glory for the fortune established. Then in that again, the last dedication from the prayer for the teaching, the special dedication. Page number 11. Due to all these merits of the same time collected by me, by the numberless Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, all sentient beings, may all the obstacles to the healthy families fallen at the Lama, and all the lineage of Lamas be instantly removed, and all their wishes be fulfilled. May all our precious kind teachers have long and healthy lives, and may they continue to turn the wheel of Dharma for the sake of suffering beings. For as long as space remains, as long as sentient beings remain, may our Geshe and all heavenly centers and projects, including the Nature Project, be free of obstacles, have all the resources they need to preserve the Mahayana tradition, and spread the teaching of the Heavenly Buddha, the laws of Dharma, exactly in accordance with the wishes of our nation, and the Lamas of us worships. May Geshe Center continue to provide the support religiously for those practicing Dharma, and let us rejoice in our own, others with joyful gifts. May all the students and friends who offer service here throughout the eternity be guided by perfectly qualified mind and virtuous training in all their future life. May they realize the enlightenment as quickly as possible for the sake of both suffering others and beings. May all sentient beings have happiness and its causes, be free from the suffering and its causes. May each and every one, without exception, quickly attain the enlightened state. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.